Unfortunately, Anderson Paak's directorial debut doesn't show as much promise for him as a filmmaker as I would have liked to have seen. K-pop just came on my radar more recently. I didn't really even know it existed. I looked it up and it premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival in 2024. It struggled to find distribution, but is now being released in the US, and what really had me excited was that it is Anderson Paak's directorial debut. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm some Anderson Paak aficionado. You know, I really like his Silk Sonic stuff especially, but he's by no means like one of my favorite artists or anything. Anytime an artist can change their realm of work, I am interested in seeing what they can do transferring over from music to film, especially. There's a good translation there, typically at least. And I will say, I don't think K-pop is as strong as it really could have been. In fact, I feel like it really struggles because of Paak's directorial work. One of the first things I noticed is that it kind of just feels like amateurish filmmaking. Now, I don't really want to just bash him because I know making a movie is no easy feat, and it's one of those things that you're going to try, you're going to keep trying, and sometime you're going to succeed most likely. And so I obviously would like to see more of him, but I can't say that I'm like overly excited to see what is next because of this first work. One of the main things that really hurts the movie, and it's really like hurts it so much because it is the main genre, that is, it's a comedy first and foremost, and the comedy doesn't really work. I'll laugh to maybe 3 times, which is a terrible average for the amount of jokes that they're kind of throwing at you. The comedy just reeks of like cringeworthy Hallmark movie comedy, and that might work for some. For me, it definitely didn't work. But also, the comedy just doesn't really know who it is. There are fart jokes, then there are like real sex jokes. It's kind of just like all over the place, and I don't really know who this movie's audience is. I genuinely don't know if it's supposed to be a PG family movie or if it's supposed to be a PG-13 borderline R-rated comedy, father-son movie. It's hard to get through at times. I'm really not gonna sugarcoat it. It's eye-rolling at moments. It really does feel Disney Channel original movie coded, especially from the music cues, the score, and the story beats. Like, it's so predictable. The 2 main things I think are most interesting is, the first main thing is that I learned after that this is actually Anderson Paak's real life son, so you can actually see that there's chemistry on screen. I was looking back and I was like, yeah, like that makes sense. Like, they do have chemistry. It's no surprise it's going to translate very well on screen. And then another thing is that there's kind of this interesting use of animation throughout. It doesn't really feel like Anderson really knew what to do with the animation. It's kind of just like he knew that he wanted it, so he kind of used it to go from location to location, kind of the connector between sequences. And I think it's interesting to see, but he doesn't even use it enough. There's like 3 moments of it. If you're gonna go in, like, just go all in. I have to say, like, the more I watch the movie, the more I realize just how harmless it is. Like, it's not a movie that's really gonna offend most people, but it really just frustrated me because it's just not really well made. The story just doesn't really know what to focus on. It's kind of like a talent show movie, kind of exploring the world of music, except it doesn't really go into the world of K-pop at all. So if you're a fan of that and you're looking forward to it because of that, like, really just know what you're going into. It's mostly a father-son comedy, and that's where it just gets really predictable. The story is really stretched out. It goes on for far too long. I really started to lose any interest that I had left within the last hour. I found it to be a struggle to get through, and most of the movie is really a struggle to get through, but there are times where I was kind of like, okay, this is fine, and then I was like, oh, this is bad. Alongside the comedy, the dialogue just really isn't that great. It doesn't really feel natural. There are moments that just feel entirely awkward and don't really feel like this is what a real person would say. All in all, I hope this movie finds its audience. I just don't really know who that is. I don't know if it's families. I don't know if it's younger kids. I don't know if it's teenagers, adults. I don't know. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen. I hope it doesn't really sound like I'm just calling it the worst thing I've ever seen. Like, it could have been worse actually, but it's really just not that great. I was hoping it would have been great. I can't really say I enjoyed my time with it because the comedy is just really like more misses than hits. It's just entirely predictable, a lot of eye-rolling moments, and I just feel like Anderson Paak just couldn't really kind of get a grasp of really the story he wanted to tell, how he wanted to effectively convey it in a funny manner especially. It doesn't really fulfill its promise in being a story through music. The music kind of just gets overshadowed by a very predictable father-son story that I just didn't really care for. I'm gonna give K-pop's a C-, and I would just recommend streaming this one if you're really curious. Again, fairly harmless, but overall just not one that I enjoyed watching. But be sure to let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comments. If you've seen it, if you're looking forward to it, let me know. I want to thank you so much for watching this video, and if you did enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, look forward to more content coming soon. My name is Ben, people call me Meter, and I'll see you guys in the next one.